Hi, Caesars. It's Shantae, and this is day 11 of your 14-day quick start training. Today, we're going to talk about building relationships and growing your network. Sometimes coaches will hold themselves back from big goals because they'll think, well, I don't know people. I don't know anybody to sell this to. I don't know, how to meet people or how to talk to new people and make friends. You're going to learn all that. Okay? And that's never an excuse. Never an excuse. Don't let that hold you back from what you want. Because some of the most successful coaches in this company are from little tiny towns in the middle of nowhere. They didn't really know anybody. Their warm market was pretty small and they were shy. They had a hard time making friends. And how you get through that is you make the decision that you're going to go after what you want, and then you work through personal development and you grow as a person, and those things never become easier, but you become better. And so they come easier to you because the person who's doing them isn't that person right now. The person who's going to do these things and grow your network and build relationships is a better future person because every single day you're getting better and working towards that person, okay? I want to touch real quickly on your warm market. Your warm market's something that you can use for a long time, and you're probably never going to run out of your warm market because your warm market will later come. And these are the people, my closest friends and family. I let them know what I was doing. But aside from like my mom and my brother, I've never invited my close friends or family to be part of a challenge. I've never invited my close friends or family to be a coach. And I let them, just because they're the closest people that are going to see what's going on and see the change in me, and I allow that to be the invite. Don't create tension between your close friends and family in these relationships by inviting them or dragging them into something, because those are the people that, no matter how you come at it, are probably going to feel like a sale. Stay away from that. Let your story and let your transformation speak to that, and they'll come to you. They'll come back and ask, but you don't have to sell it to them. And your warm market can go for a long time, but that warm market is also probably not your target market. That was kind of what went on with me. Remember that assignment I gave you about creating your person, your target person, who you're talking to. Your warm market might not fall into that same category. For me, my warm market, majority of it was from my hometown, which is a small, really conservative place. I'm not. I'm big city. I live in Boise, but I would be living in LA if it wasn't for Brian. But I'm like, big city, really liberal, and not in my warm market. So when you step out of that warm market and instead still focus that target person and work on building and growing relationships with those people, your target market, the people you connect with, your work will become so much more rewarding because you're with your people. Like, there's things that you might be really into that you feel alone in right now, and that, like, well, yeah, it's just my thing and I do it by myself. You now have the opportunity to find thousands of other people who are into that. That becomes part of your target person and something that you're going to connect with random people on, that they may feel alone in that too. Okay? And this can be like the most obscure things that you're into. So how do we find people? How do we find these target people, this target market? Facebook groups is a huge one. Just like we have challenge groups, people have fan page groups for everything that you can think of. I'm part of a Pitbull group. I'm part of some fashion blogger groups. I'm part of a group of people that really love dinosaurs. I really love dinosaurs so much. I can't wait to have a baby just so I have a legitimate excuse to have a dinosaur-themed room in our house. Straight up. Dinosaur group. There's a hobby that you're really into. Get into a group for it. There's even groups on Facebook that are like people locally, like Boise stay-at-home moms looking to meet friends. That's a group. That's a group of people that flat out said, hey, you're a stay-at-home mom, I'm a stay-at-home mom too, I want to be friends with you. These people are in these groups because they want to make connections and they want to build relationships. And when you get in these groups, is that your job as a coach, is to build relationships and then share your tools. So when you get in these groups, you're in these groups to be in these groups. You're not in these groups to find sales. You're not in these groups to find coaches. You're in these groups to find friends. And those friends are going to become part of your warm market. And then it's not going to be a sale when you're inviting them and sharing your tools with them because you know them already. And you've built a relationship with them so that you can speak to them on points that are actually relevant to their life. Okay? So Facebook groups are a really great place. Hashtag searching on Instagram. If you're really big on Instagram, this is how you also grow a lot of followers. But if you're really big on Instagram, search hashtags and stay away from like big hashtags like fitness or love. Search really obscure hashtags and you'll find like people just like you. The other day, I searched literary tattoo. I've planned an entire like half sleeve that's all on books. And so I searched literary tattoo. I found a girl that has a tattoo from my favorite book, is doing T25, doesn't have a coach, is a rock star on social media, already really involved in something, networking to build relationships. She's part of this like crazy sewing group that does like retreats and stuff, and she's got a pit bull. What? That's like my target person just showed up in real life. And this like is the perfect potential to be a coach. But that's not what we're talking about. Because we're instead talking about books and talking about building, and we're building that relationship so that later when I say like, hey, want to know if you want to do a challenge with me? Like I love connecting with you and hanging out online. Like, is this something you're into? And if she says yes, then I can say, I've actually thought about you a lot, that you would be a perfect coach. This is why, because I know her now. Okay. So hashtags on Instagram's a great way. Different websites that aren't like social media or advertising driven, that you're just there to be a part of because you're building relationships. For me, Goodreads. Goodreads is a like book review site where you can follow people and see people's bookshelves. They put book reviews. I read every single day. Books are one of my huge giant passions. One of the reasons why I'm a Beachbody coach is so that it allows me to follow my other passions. I'll have the financial freedom to do that. One of them is I'm going to write a novel. So Goodreads, perfect place for me to make friends. For you, it might be chat rooms. You might be really if you're really into like an online game, I'm going to challenge you to get rid of that game and figure out where it's at in your priorities because it's probably taking up a lot of time. But that's a good place for you to connect with people and talk about things. I am a film studies. I went to college and got a degree in film studies. I'm huge into film, but on like a super nerd level where I like notice lighting and cinematography and dialogue and crazy things like that. Facebook groups like that where I can talk to people about film on an intellectual level, building relationships. And then the main point of all your other social media that we talked about is to direct people back to your Facebook. And that's where you communicate. That's everybody's end all, is a lot of times Facebook. And so communicate and get them back to there, and then they're able to see your whole story and you're sharing your things on there, and they're able to get interested in this other aspect of your life because they've already really connected with you in a different place. And so this just becomes part of who you are. Instead of a Beachbody coach, you're this person who's really into film or really into books, and you really connect on this thing. Oh, and then this is also part of them. Okay? Because you don't want to be a Beachbody coach. You are a Beachbody coach, but this isn't all of you. That's not who you are. Okay? So you found the people. Now, how do you talk to them? How do you build that relationship? I like to use something called form. And get a piece of paper. Take notes on this. This is important. Form is family, occupation, recreation, and message. And I'm going to touch on a couple points in each of those. And it's important. These are all the things that I keep track of in Asana. The documentation I keep on an individual person, on a prospect, on someone I'm conversing and building a relationship with. Because you're building a friendship. And you need to recognize that while this person long-term may end up just being a challenger and then, someone that kind of fades off and goes and you've taught them how to live the lifestyle and they go and do that on their own, you're going to be a really significant part of this person's life. And you are going to be part of changing their life. So it's important for you to know these things and for them to feel like they matter and know that they matter. And you'll be talking to a lot of people, and so keep track of these things so that when you're talking to them, you can talk to them on points on through that relationship and actually discuss with them on them, okay? Family is a relationship, kids, names and ages, pets, what kind of pet, their significant other, what does their significant other do? Those are all things I discuss in family. Kids' names, keep track of how to spell their names. So when you reference them, knowing a kid's name and spelling their names will jump you up in someone's connection with you. Second one is occupation. Not just what they do, but why they're doing what they do. Why did they get into their job? Did they go to school and work to make a career? And what was the motivation behind that? Okay. And then on that same note, do they like their job? Do they enjoy what they do? For me, I got a degree in communication, immediately got a full-time job in marketing right after, and to everybody else, it looked like I had the perfect situation. I had everything that I, needed, but it was nothing that I wanted, and I hated what I did. And unless Nina had asked that, she wouldn't have known that. And that was a huge, huge, huge why for me signing up as a coach, and the number one reason why I worked so hard like I did to be able to quit my job. She would have never known that had she not asked that information, okay? Recreation is R. That's people's passions. What do they do for fun? What do they, do on their free time? And when you're talking to people, you're relating all of this information back to make it relevant to your message. So that when you're inviting someone to a challenge or when you're sharing the coach opportunity with that person, you know why. And you have something relevant to relate back to them. Okay? Because otherwise you could be inviting someone to a challenge and sharing the challenge with them for all the wrong reasons. And if the reason you're sharing with them doesn't connect with them personally and emotionally, you've just shut them off and they want nothing to do with the challenge because it's not relevant to them. Okay? So before I ever come at them with an M, before I ever come at them with my message, I have to know F, O, and R. I have to know about their family, their occupation, and their recreation. And that keeps me from turning someone into a sale. Okay? So, points from this video. Don't sell to your family and your friends. And right now, you're still learning how to be a good coach. And you're learning how to share your story. And by sharing with them, and especially coming at them, we all start out as salesmen that learn how to be coaches. And so if you're still coming at them when you're in your salesman phase and you're still learning how to coach, you're going to turn them off and you're going to create tension in relationships. And I know of people who lost friends or people who have stopped being friends with people because they turned into a Beachbody coach and that's all that they came at them with. And it shuts them off. Okay, so don't do that. Pick your hobbies, things that you're super into and you feel alone in or you feel like you're the only one that's into. Go and connect with people on that. That's your people. Be within your people. Last one, form. Family, occupation, recreation before your message. Okay? See you tomorrow.